Hello, and welcome to We the Students, a political discussion sponsored by Nauset Regional High School's AP U.S. Government and Politics program, in collaboration with Nauset's video production class. Last summer, a young man swimming off a Cape Cod beach was attacked and killed by a great white shark. The attack has renewed debate to once again allow the hunting of seals and sharks to better protect beachgoers in a region that relies heavily on tourism. Today, We the Students will tackle this controversial topic. I'm your guest host, Jeremy Spivak, a senior at Nauset and a veteran of the AP Government program. Just for the record, opinions expressed here belong to the panelists and are not the views of Nauset Regional High School, nor the Nauset Regional School District. Now, let's meet our panel. In favor of hunting sharks and seals, we have Chase Como, Stephanie Gould, and Garrison Guzzo. And opposed, we have Emily Bellarosa, Sydney Griffin, and Isabella Valentino. Okay, so, the shark attack. It happened. What do we do?
So on September 15th this year, we had a brutal shark attack. Arthur Medici, he was 26 years old. He was killed by a shark. This was one of the first shark attacks in many years that has actually been fatal, but it has brought really specific attention to what do we do to the sharks and seals now to prevent future shark attacks.
Well, we think, and science proves, that killing sharks and seals will not help regulate and limit shark attacks on Cape Cod. And it's done in many studies in Hawaii, California, and Australia that show that killing sharks and seals will not
Although that is not
humans.
proven, that if we had less seals on Cape Cod, which now we have 30,000 to 50,000, and that was a survey taken this summer, but it will decrease the amount of sharks coming to Cape Cod each year.
All those surveys were based on the killing of the sharks, but do you have any evidence on the killing of the seals affecting the populations of the sharks?
We've actually seen that the killing of seals has brought more shark attacks on people because then the sharks are more desperate for food and more likely to come closer to shore to kill humans.
Where'd you get those studies from?
I would have to go back and check.
All right.
And I'm not sure if that information is correct, but the killing of the seals will also, even though I guess it might possibly do that, the sharks will begin to not come to the area as much because the food that they want is not here.
Also, the killing of the seals, since seals are migratory species and they migrate from Canada, there are over like 50,000 to 100,000 seals in Canada. So, and there are studies that show that they migrate from Canada to New England. So seals that you kill one day, they're just going to be more filling in from Canada. And to actually make an impact, you'd have to kill a vast amount, which will later then cause endangered species.
So in Canada, they are actually beginning to put in an act that is allowing people to hunt seals. So this will also have an impact on the beginning of that. I guess if they migrate from Canada, then beginning to kill them up there. And if we also impact that, or also enforce that down here, then it should begin to make an impact on the population.
Well, that's not possible because the Mammal Protection Act of 1972 protects these gray seals, which almost went extinct in the 1960s from any harm that humans could do to them without federal approval.
Massachusetts actually offered a bounty, and it was given to the people who killed seals from $1 to $5 between 1888 and 1962, and this over 135,000 seals were killed in that time.
Yes, and they almost went extinct.
Yeah, and the consequence of that is
them
them
going
going
extinct.
extinct.
So
And
now
now
right
right
start
now,
killing them again, it could happen. Their population is just starting to rebound, and we don't even know their vital purpose in our ecosystem yet, since they're just now starting to show up again.
And everyone who's scared because there's so many seals coming back, it's because we pushed them so far to extinction in the 60s due to these.
We're not saying we would push them to extinction again. We are saying that we will bring the population down.
Yeah.
We did that in the past. We will not do it now. We will bring the population down until there are less shark attacks.
How can you assure that they won't become endangered because we're just going to keep killing them, killing them?
We regulate killing. We're not madmen going around with harpoons shooting every seal we see.
Well, that kind of sounds
Just
like
because
what your
you
plan
think
is.
that doesn't mean that you have enough scientific evidence and understanding of this ecosystem because it hasn't been in its prime in so long that you would know what these killings are going to impact.
We can't just go
the
killing.
statistics back in from 1888 and 1962, 135,000 seals were killed, And that also decreased the population of sharks on Cape Cod. It didn't kill the sharks just went to other areas, which is what we're looking for to prevent these shark attacks in the future.
Why are you trying to drive them out of their own ecosystem in their own home so that you have benefits of going to the beach? Humans were evolved so they could live on land. Sharks and seals can't go to the land. They can't live there. This is their home. They live there. They
Emily,
have to.
you're talking about the beach like it's not an important part about where we live, but it very much is so. The town of Orleans makes almost $1 million a year from parking at Nauset Beach, a place where shark sightings have occurred numerous times throughout the summer. And a loss of that money and income could lead to impacts in schools and police departments in the towns that even this district.
But the thing is, there are many other ways we can prevent these, or not totally prevent, but help control these shark attacks that don't have to involve killing species that could be endangered.
And what are those ways?
Well, the ways are, people are suggesting drones, which is a very effective way of watching above the ocean.
Also, why do you feel that humans should be entitled safety when immersed in another creature's ecosystem when we can't even ensure the creature who's in its own ecosystem safety?
Sharks are apex predators in the ecosystem, and if you start killing them, there are so many serious
It's not as simple as it seems, in the sense that killing the sharks would produce a ripple effect and affect all other species in the ocean. And there's so many things that we don't understand. So why would you take that risk?
Along with the rise of the seal and shark population, the fishing industry has really suffered. They have recently had lots of impacts on especially the cod. The seals have been eating the cod, and there have been many fishermen that want to kill the seals because it is really affecting them.
According to IFAW and many of them,
people,
On your time, please.
there are 30,000 to 50,000 seals on Cape, and a seal eats 5 to 11 pounds per day, so that means that 500,000 pounds of fish can be consumed by seals every single day in the summer.
and according to IFAW, it is proven that they are not affecting the fishing industry dramatically, and other things could be affecting the fishing industry, like overfishing, bycatch, climate change, and ocean pollution.
Sydney,
so that is not a solid point.
fishermen are out there, they're working their best to bring in today's catch and get money on the table and bring home what they need to support their families. And you're going to tell them that it's their fault for overfishing and their fault for not following fishing laws. You're saying it's not the seal's fault, it's their fishermen's fault.
And the fishermen are the ones that are calling for these regulations.
They need to eat this fish.
And the fishermen do not need to support their family?
No, they have to support their family, but they can eat other jobs. They can get other jobs. There are other options for them. There are no other options for them.
What would it be like for tourists to come to Cape Cod and not eat at a seafood restaurant? That is part of our identity as Cape Cod.
That's something they do for choice. They don't absolutely need that. Seals and sharks need fish, and they need to survive, especially to protect the ecosystem. It's just totally inhumane that you're putting the needs of, not even the needs, the recreation of people over the lives of these sharks.
The recreation of people is needed in order to support the economy of our region and support our schools. The money that someone spends when they vacation on Cape Cod can go into towns to support schools like the one we're at right now.
Okay.
And it supports families.
And we don't want to brutally kill these sharks. We think of ideas such as setting up buoys with hooks around them surrounding the beaches. So if the sharks swim near the beaches, that is when they're killed. Not just going out into the ocean, just randomly killing sharks, randomly killing seals. We want to ensure that it just protects our beaches and protects our safety, and it's not inhumane.
Seals destroys our ecosystem. Like, I understand everyone wants to have their fish sticks, but it's not worth
There's no proof that killing the seals affects our ecosystem.
Well, how do you know it's not going to affect it? Like, you have no
But how do you know that
hunted the seals almost to extinction previously, then we stopped hunting the seals when we didn't need to anymore.
Just because you did it wrong once doesn't mean we're not going to do it wrong again.
Let me finish. Then it was able to bring the population back up through protection, and so this cycle can continue on. If we allow more seals to be killed, we can bring them back to lower populations, and then protect them, and then protect them, so therefore the population can be preserved.
What's the point of that?
To regulate the seal populations.
And why do we need
regulates their seal population? They have hunting seasons for seals, and they place quotas on the limit of seals that are allowed to be killed, and they control this by each person who kills a seal brings in a part of that seal, and they count that, and once a certain number has reached, they stop those seasons.
I understand that, but we do not know if we start killing seals that it's going to protect people. Like, we don't know that.
But we won't know that until we try.
Yeah, but
That's not.
But that's not a good chance.
Neither is doing nothing, and that's why we need to go
Okay.
Order, please.
We're
In
not
the
doing
1930s,
nothing.
when the last fatal shark attack happened on Cape Cod, there was a lower seal population because that's when we were hunting them. You're suggesting that, and a fatal shark attack happened when there was a lower population of seals. So how is there not going to be another fatal shark attack
During
when
that
there's a
fatal
lower
shark attack, that
population
person was
of
swimming
seals?
very far out. This recent fatal shark attack, the man was only 30 feet out, and he was in water that was shallow enough for him to stand. It was very inhumane, and he was not expecting for this to happen. It was not like he was putting his life in. He was not putting his life in danger by swimming far
Tell
out.
the difference between a seal and a person. It's not inhumane that a shark killed someone. It's their instincts. It's who they are. It's inhumane that we're trying to kill them and ruin their ecosystem.
And also, anyone who goes in the water is putting their life in danger no matter what. Even if we do try to regulate the seal population by killing them, people are still risking their lives. They could drown, they could get caught in a riptide. Also, they could be attacked by a shark, and they need to understand that if they're going to go in the water, they have
And
to
because of
shield.
that,
public
people
education
aren't
about
coming to
stay in
Cape
the
Cod.
water, and that's a risk that they're willing to take. So, and
Because
it's really sad, but
because of the sharks, people aren't coming to Cape Cod, and that is not just affecting beaches, it's affecting local businesses, families.
Also, sorry, you can finish.
No, we can go.
Okay. Also, sharks are attracting people to Cape through merchandise, through T-shirts, through so many things. People are coming, eco-tourism, people are coming to see the sharks. And if it was affecting our tourism that much, then why would we be advertising that we had sharks in our water?
You're talking about economic support towards private businesses. I'm talking about economic support through parking at beaches. That supports towns and the necessary things everyone needs in their life.
And is a shark's life really worth more than a human
Yes.
life?
Yes.
What?
This
This
is
is
Arthur
Arthur
Medici.
Medici. I want to point out, this is
Yeah.
Arthur Medici. This
Yes.
is his fiance, or he was about to propose to his girlfriend. His life was cut short, and he was no longer able to do this.
Yes.
This
I want
affected
you
the
all to
community
turn to that
greatly.
camera and tell us what you want to do and tell his girlfriend what you want to do to protect other
he
people. on
put
this
his
beaches.
own life in danger by immersing himself in another creature's ecosystem.
So you're saying it's his fault?
No, I'm saying that he knew the risk that he was taking. You walk into every single beach and you see the signs that say that there are sharks in the water, and you need to recognize that before going in.
And also, we are not trying to say that we need to do nothing about it.
We're saying killing them isn't the option.
What is the option?
No, it's not. Why do
No, I'm not saying what is the option.
the option?
If this isn't the option, then what is?
Okay, so there are many different things we could do. They're not totally proven to work, but at least we're not endangering and risking lives of other animals. There are drones. We can tag more sharks, more public awareness and education, maybe even underwater sonar system and smart drum lines.
How much
We've
money
been-
would that
there are
cost?
many.
We've been tagging sharks for years, and there still was 2 shark attacks this summer. It didn't really seem to make an impact on that.
Yeah, there hasn't. This is the first fatal shark attack in 83 years.
Okay,
But there were 2 shark attacks this summer. The numbers are increasing. There was one back in 2012. Since then, there has not been.
So if
shark
it's
attacks
increasing, like how much has it, where did you get your information that it was increasing?
that there was a shark attack in 2012, and there were 2 shark attacks this summer.
Yeah,
That's very many more
has
than
there,
in the
has
past
there been any
years.
in between
in
that
between
though?
there, it could have just been a coincidence. Like,
Or maybe
I
it's
would need
because
some
the
more data
increase
to
of the
back
seal
that up.
population.
I don't think it's a
Make
coincidence
mistakes.
because the shark population is increasing.
only juvenile sharks are more inclined to bite humans because of their immaturity, and it's really hard to go through and pinpoint which sharks you're killing, because you could be
That's why
killing a
having
completely harmless shark and a shark that knows the difference between a human and a seal, whereas you could go in, like, you really can't tell what shark is going
That's
to be
why having the
dangerous.
buoys
So it
around
really-
the beach with the hooks on them would make this impact, because the sharks are only killed if they swim near the beaches.
Interstate Fisheries Plan, created by the Atlantic States Marine Fisheries Commission, prohibits the fishing and the killing of sharks for commercial and recreational use. So how do you plan on killing sharks when there are already
Plans like that have
plans
been
in place?
circumvented in other places, such as in California, where they killed seals in order to save other endangered species.
In California,
we're not saving
California.
other endangered species
We're saying
by
that
killing seals.
there is a chance for this to be
We're
revoked
putting
because it
great
has
white
been
sharks
proved that it
further
We're not
has been
supplying
harmful.
any of that, guys.
Why would you wait 5 years to get this revoked when you could do something now and you could put our money into scientific research and how to understand the creatures in the
So much
water?
money has been going into that. We want to try something new. We want to try something that we haven't tried.
try something
new,
Sorry to interrupt. I would like,
No, you want to try
guys,
murder.
sorry
You
to
don't want
interrupt. I would like
something
to
new.
just
Murder's
bring
not
up one.
new.
I would just like to bring up one point, please. Well, first off, we're 15 minutes through, so that's halfway. But I've gotten your position. So you want to tag sharks, you want drones. I'm not entirely sure about yours. We've talked about hunting seals, maybe hunting sharks, but would you like to clarify further, like the difference between your policy on seals and sharks?
Okay, so for our seal policy, we would like to bring in something where there are like seasonal and limited hunting of seals. We don't want to just straight up be like, kill as many seals as you want. We want to have a limited amount of killing of seals. We want to have, like, say, a hunting season or a certain of number that people can kill each.
And regulations would be in place on those seasons to make sure seal populations don't go too low to like the numbers they were in the 30s.
There are so many seals, and you just think killing a couple will affect sharks. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. It's not we want to kill a lot of seals, but we don't want to kill so many seals that it drastically endangers
it's going to
them.
come to that. If you do this over time, then they're eventually
That's why we want to keep
You're
track of the
coming
numbers.
back
Yeah,
from
but if-
extinction, and you want to kill a lot of seals.
There are so they're not coming back from
this is
extinction.
not-
There are
Yes,
multiple-
they are. Extinction. And then in the 1960s,
But there are
they went
so
to
many
near
seals right
extinction.
now.
There
But
are
there's
so
supposed
many
to be
seals.
more.
They're still being protected because there's still a small number
Just
of
to
them.
clarify, their
'cause they
species
almost
wasn't
went-
nearly extinct. They were just disappearing from this area because they've been.
Yes, and that's
They were
ruining the
endangered.
ecosystem of this area.
How has
did
it
it
been
do that?
affecting the ecosystem? Just wondering.
Okay, so
Sharks are a sign of a healthy ecosystem, and by killing the seals, and killing the sharks, we would be getting rid of the natural creatures in
Why
their
are
habitat.
Define
sign
healthy
of-
ecosystem.
okay,
No.
I will do that for you.
A healthy
So,
ecosystem.
they affect the behavior and distribution through fear, and they help preserve seagrass by like helping by killing other fishes that animals that overgraze on the seagrass, and also they protect coral reefs, and also they help keep carbon out of the environment.
So you think the protection of seagrass is more important than the protection of human life?
No, that's not what I'm saying. If you mess up, if you kill sharks and mess up the apex predator, they're one of the top predators in the ocean, and it'll mess up the entire ecosystem. So you're saying, this kind of sounds bad, but one person's life is worth ruining a whole ecosystem
There
for
are
the ocean.
20 million sharks killed for every single human killed a year, and I just don't understand why you don't think that's enough to feel safe.
I think that is
How
a
many-
lot,
how
but
many
how many
sharks
are
in
actually killed
Most of
in
the sharks that are being killed overseas,
Yeah.
and it's not really directly affecting our shark population.
The 5 people who are killed are being killed everywhere, so they could be being killed overseas. There are a lot of shark attacks in Europe, in South Africa, and a lot of places like that. So saying that the sharks are being killed there also says the humans are being killed
I don't really
there
have
too.
statistics on where the sharks are being killed, but we really have
I
to
do.
focus on that people are being killed here.
And there
So-
were no
One
shark
person
attacks.
was killed
There
here.
was
And one person was nearly killed. The man that was bitten in this
But he wasn't
summer,
killed, was he?
He is
He was
still
not
in the
killed.
hospital.
20 million,
He is still recovering.
100 million sharks were completely killed.
Again,
So how many?
Hello,
how
where
many
were these
lives of
sharks killed?
and
Were they
seals
killed in
adds
U.S.
up to the
waters
life
or were
of
they
one
killed across
person?
seas?
They're
That's
killed
like
all
around
around
the
the
world.
world. In China, here, in Australia, just everywhere.
Everywhere.
Over 200 million sharks are being killed around the world. What, like Bella said, how many sharks and seals are you going to need to kill for us to be satisfied?
What we want to do
We're
is
never
we
gonna
want
be
to put the
satisfied.
buoys up around the beaches. We don't want to just go out and hunt the seals, hunt the
that's
sharks.
true.
We want to just protect the beaches from the sharks
I
entering
would
and killing people in
Also,
the
like
beaches.
to say that sharks have survived 4 mass extinctions, and us as one species has pushed them closer to extinction than they ever have been before, and now we're gonna keep doing that. We have been one of the most destructive creatures to the sharks throughout their entire lives.
Also, your idea of putting the border around the beach, that could have serious bycatch. You could be killing way more animals that are not threatening us to just protect a couple humans from
So
sharks.
And-
smart drum lines are drum lines, like Steph was saying, with hooks, but they indicate send signals to the shore when an animal is caught. And in Australia, they did this, and it hooked 32 animals, and all of them were released
yeah,
safely.
I read that.
I actually had a different fact about this
So then
being
why did you
tried
say
in
that?
Australia.
Yes, exactly. That would be a good example of
not
these
killing
drum
them.
lines.
Not killing them.
You're
I'm not
trying
you're
to kill
arguing
them.
for killing
That'd be
them.
our point to do that, because you're just sending them back out. Your idea, or what you're supporting, is killing them, and that's not
We were talking
killing
about
them.
saving the animals that don't kill people, like the sea
do you
turtles
mean?
that
No,
get
we're
caught,
talking about saving the
or the fish
animals.
that get caught in them. The smart drum lines.
These
Yeah.
smart drum lines, but if if sharks are like attracted to smart drum lines and they are caught by them, then they could just be tagged and then towed farther out to sea. We don't need to kill them. If we tag them, then we'll know where they are.
Yeah, but if we kill them, then they won't be there in the first place.
I know,
tagging
and you're
sharks-
ruining the
Like,
ecosystem.
it's a whole circle.
To me, it doesn't really seem
It
like
just seems
this-
like a circle of murder here.
You
That's what
don't-
I'm
Yeah,
Like,
getting.
you
they
can
kill
go on
us,
the
we
ecosystem.
kill them, now there's nothing.
You
Yeah,
think
it's
that
not an eye for an eye situation. We need to have
now
an
we're all
actual
gonna be
solution to
dead.
this problem. We can't just keep killing each other.
Tagging sharks has
kill
been
for
going on
kill.
for years, and still people were attacked.
Yeah.
More recently, when we were tagging sharks.
Are you guys saying that you're not concerned about the rising of the shark population and the statistics that show
No.
that the shark attacks are increasing on Cape Cod?
we are not
Great white sharks were pushed near extinction by humans, so now that the population is going up again, you're proposing that we do that once again.
It's rising to the levels that should be normal. If we had never interfered with them before, then there would be more sharks and seals now. It's like how it's naturally supposed to
Just
be.
because we're not used to the natural ecosystem because we messed it up so bad before, doesn't mean we should be making these drastic changes to it now.
And I'm not saying it's not an adjustment, but it's an adjustment we have to make because we need to keep our ecosystem safe if we want Cape Cod to be here for long after us.
This is a
We're
quote.
just
You
suggest-
should be worried if you do not see sharks in the water.
We're just suggesting that we
Who said
try
that?
something new.
I don't know who
we
said
really
it.
need to try
It's
something
true.
new.
I'm killing
Please,
what
one
is
at a
out.
time.
What we're doing now is not working.
One at a
already
time.
did
You
that.
all have great points. I'm sure the audience would love to hear them. So one at a time,
And
please.
killing the seals did decrease the shark numbers, and it
Yes, and
even
it
though-
almost pushed seals towards extinction. So are you proposing that we do that again?
Not
I
because
don't
I know
understand
you're
why
saying
they're
they're
not
not scared.
scared. Yes,
They
it
just
did. They
decreased
almost
the
went
population
extinct.
from the
Because it
seals.
didn't happen. They weren't extinct. They weren't extinct.
They were endangered.
Yeah.
They were endangered.
I'm not worried about them almost going towards extinction because
You're
they were
not worried
protected.
about that?
Because that happened, and now there are plenty of seals. It doesn't matter that they almost went
Yeah,
towards
it
extinction
doesn't
because there's
matter
so
that-
many of them now.
Yeah, but then if we keep doing, so first, the Marine Mammal Protection Act, there's very little chance that it will get passed, that we will be able to kill seals again, because there's so much public opposition within it. And
But the
it's
killing
just-
of Arthur Medici, I feel, has really called the public to attention that we really do need to try something new.
Yeah, and trying something new, that doesn't mean we have to kill sharks and seals. Other things, we have not tried drones yet at the well.
Yes, we have had we've had planes flying above that have been
We have
spotted
not
Yeah.
for
aggressively
years.
tried.
I don't
the
know how a
solution to
drone
the
would make a
problem.
difference from a plane.
Well, we talked about policies, but who would do this? So would the towns be running these buoys that you're mentioning? Would the towns run the drones? Would this be a larger federal effort? Would this be run by civilians? We just talk about who would do this, who would pay for it, how it would work.
That's an interesting question because we do have the national seashore. And so that is why a federal push for this is important because towns can't do anything for what's going on the national seashore. That's federal-owned land.
Yep.
And local towns can implement it however they need it. They can do it on which beaches they want to implement them on. And Chase has some information about cost per mileage of netting and
Netting, that's
Drum hooks?
bycatch.
Netting
have a
causes
question.
bycatch,
I
which
apologize, I meant to say
causes the
drum
death
hooks, my bad.
of other marine life.
He didn't.
And
say
drum
anything.
Well,
and
you
drum
did say
lines
netting.
also could affect other animals that aren't sharks.
Yep.
and
But
seals.
how would it with the alerting and the people being able to drive their boats and take the animals off the drum lines and release them? Then how would that affect the populations or anything?
It wouldn't be affecting the populations, but it could put them in danger. Why are we putting the lives of other marine life
Because
in
we're
danger?
trying to save human lives here.
Okay, but why, by doing that, we're killing.
We're not killing them. We're just
killing
killing their lives.
hundreds,
Don't go in the
thousands of
ocean.
other marine animals for the lives
Yeah,
of
and then
like
people won't
what,
come to
like
Cape
2
Cod 'cause they
humans?
won't go in the
That's
ocean.
not
That is
worth.
But what we're saying is that
We
the
don't
drum
have
lines
to
are
have
not
in
killing
mugs,
them.
in hats, in sweatshirts that are having sharks on them. They would not look as good if the sharks were dead. No one would buy them.
And also that could seriously make people not want to come to Cape Cod because they know that we're killing innocent animals.
I think
disagree
they make
with
people
that.
feel more safe. I think they would be more swimming in the water. People would be going to more beaches, and there would be more economic boost for the beaches.
Yeah, but is it all about
Tourist-
money?
Yeah.
Like, do you even care about the environment?
Do you care about the earth or do you
care about
money?
people?
You care about
Money that goes to
We do
towns
care
goes to
about
support
people.
areas of local recreation, town protected areas like Kents Point and
we
Orleans.
could
I walk
just
my dog
protect-
there.
so by-
How is that going to be
okay, so
preserved
by-
if the town doesn't have enough
So
money
by
to
not
preserve it?
protecting some animals, you can protect others.
Yes.
How about we just protect
That's
all
not-
the animals by not using the money to kill the
And
animals?
also, you just said that we don't care about people, but that is not true at all. We are trying to find less invasive ways to prevent shark attacks.
But they're not
Going back to
working.
Jeremy's question,
Okay,
who's
well,
paying
if
for
we
those
fo-
ways? Who's paying for those
The
ways?
federal government, because it's the national
and the
seashore.
state government.
Seashore.
The
Okay,
national
so we
a
agree
way
there?
to enforce.
Yeah,
the
we
We
agree
agree?
there.
Yes,
Awesome,
It's
guys.
a way to enforce the Marine Mammals Protection Act.
We agree that the National Seashore, they will help put money in to protect these animals. And it'll be
As they
very
have in the Mammal Protection Act.
it will be very hard to be able to put up a drum line that will kill sharks in the National Seashore. That's just they're not going to let you do that. Especially
Why not?
Because it's against the Marine
it's a
Mammals
national
Protection
seashore.
Act.
National laws like that have been circumvented, as we said before.
Yeah, in the recent
Yeah,
past,
but
like
it's
in
very
California
difficult
with
to do that.
killing
We
the
need
sea
to
lions.
think of, we need to think of
That's
solutions
solutions
that can
very now.
protect people for this coming summer. Being able to circumvent this act now for this coming
That's
summer
why our
would be
proposed
very,
idea
very difficult.
for the smart drum lines for this summer would be an alternative, not by killing them, but by catching them and being able to
You
release
guys
them.
are arguing for
you're
killing
arguing for
them.
That's what we were saying.
We
want
already
to
do. We
kill
would
the
like to do
sharks.
that in the future, but if
What?
a compromise for this summer to protect lives would be the smart drum lines.
Well, are we supposed to be compromising here? I thought you were for killing them.
I thought
You're
your
just-
whole stance here, your whole argument here is to kill sharks and
That
seals.
is our argument.
Now you're
But
just
that,
kind of
you
going
guys are
against
asking
that.
what our thing to do for now would be. Before we are able to overcome these laws, that would be a proposal that would work, and I don't understand why you wouldn't be for that.
We
for
are
that.
for
We
that.
just-
That's our
Well, it seems
argument.
like you've
why
been
you are.
arguing against the drum lines.
No, we just
No,
don't
we're arguing
understand why
against
you're
drum
not
lines
arguing
that,
what your
that catch
position
sharks
is.
and then you kill them. We want drum lines to catch sharks so that they can be tagged and then towed farther out to sea.
Also,
Yeah, is that
after
what you're
these
saying?
drum
Then we're
lines, how would you
agreeing.
propose to kill sharks? Like, would it be independent fishermen going out, or would it be nets, or would it be?
Independent fishermen is a kind of slippery slope if you think about it, because it's kind of sketchy. That's why we think.
Why do you say that?
I mean, you know, like shark fin soup and all that. I don't want to get off
Yeah.
topic, Emily.
Get argued.
But as Chase said, like with, we have the Chamber of Commerce, or the Town Waterways Committee, and policies like in Scandinavia, where they have quotas to kill specific numbers of seals in Scandinavia. We can apply that to sharks, apply it to seals to help both.
You're still
fishing.
killing them,
We are almost
and you will affect the ecosystem.
we are
by
almost out
doing
of
that.
time. So before we finish, can we just get some final words from each side? Maybe you want to clarify your position or have one final point.
Okay, so I guess we're agreeing with you because we want to do the smart drum lines that will not kill sharks and that will tow them back out. So we do agree with you with that.
We also have some other ideas such as better signage, better cell surface on the beaches,
Better public
drones.
education
Yeah.
about sharks. We don't think that taking these drastic measures so quickly is really a solution to this problem.
We should learn to live with them and not fight against
We
them.
need to learn to coexist with them, not
Yeah.
We feel that the only true evidence that has decreased the shark population was the killing of seals. And we do believe that that may have been inhumane by killing so many, but we want to begin implementing that again to see if it will impact the saving of human lives.
All right. Well, unfortunately, we're just about out of time, so we'll have to hold our discussion there. We thank Nauset High School's television production class and Lower Cape TV for making this valuable experience possible for all of us. That concludes another segment of We the Students, a political discussion sponsored by Nauset Regional High School's AP US Government and Politics program. I'm Jeremy Spivak. Thanks for watching.